This is how to make 2025 the best year of your life. You will never hear the best of your life? That's my why. And my baby. So I have 3 things you need to put in place and then really 4 tips, let's say 5 tips on these are the tactical things. So 3 of them are gonna be about mindset, 5 of them are gonna be like tactical tips that you can put into practice today. So the first thing that I always recommend people, if you wanna make 2025 the best year of your life, is get a journal. And this is where the perspective piece happens. The reason I'm saying number 1 right out of the gate is get a journal is because of really my own journey to get here to pretty healthy day, a pretty healthy family. About 10 years ago, I was going through a divorce and I was just struggling to find my way in the world. I was struggling to reach certain goals. Like I was chasing career goals. I was chasing like trying to be fun and all these other things. And what I really noticed was my inner dialogue was just not helpful. And there's this book, The Untethered Soul, where it talks about like that inner roommate that person has. And if you met that person in real life, that inner monologue that you have, they're probably a huge jerk. I know it was for me. And it's something that we're very, very critical with ourselves. And I don't think we notice that. And that's where the journal comes in. It's so helpful to just write down your thoughts, write down your perspective, write down your goals and really what you want to aspire to do because we need to have a better relationship with those inner thoughts. The reason why most people are skipping workouts and reaching for unhealthy foods or unhealthy habit is largely because of that inner dialogue. They're just reactionary to it as opposed to understanding like this was a thought. This thought came in. I can kind of battle with that thought. Like this is helpful. Maybe it's helpful for the period of time that I'm in right now. And then there's other times when it's just not that helpful and I choose a different path. But until you start having a better relationship with that inner dialogue, you're not going to be able to make 2025 the best year of your life. You're not going to be able to see that there is a fork in the road, that there are other options. So that's why I really love a journal is the first thing that you need to invest in if you want to make 2025 the best year of your life. So the second thing that I would say to make 2025 the best year of your life is going to be have a goal. I really am not a big fan of like, I just want to lose weight or I want to gain muscle. They have this idea called like SMART goals. And the first thing is make them specific. Second part, the M of it is measurable. And these are the two things that I really like about this SMART goal idea is because it's specific. I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to gain a certain amount of muscle. But I actually really like the idea of having goals that are, I want to run a marathon, a half marathon. So we're here in my garage gym because last year, and I have the bikes right over there, I did a half Ironman. This year, my goal was I want to improve my back squat, and I had like a 20-pound PR this year. I like being specific about certain goals because that allows us to put a date on something. I want to improve my back squat by a certain amount of pounds on a certain date. I would have a race. And I really find myself so far in the last 2 months because I don't have a goal. I kind of just feel like I don't have a direction. So this is why I really love the idea of having a goal. It could be a 5K and then or a high rocks event or something like that. So having something on the calendar that you work towards. There's so many great programs out there that like the half marathon programs. I'm sure where you live, there's some type of running or like Spartan race or something that excites you about being active in the world. And there's just this thing that as humans feel like we're conquerors. We like to climb the mountains. We like to do these big things. And these goals allow us to feel like we're climbing that mountain and doing those big things. So the next aspect of making 20 door. So the next aspect of making 2025 the best year of your life, I believe is investing in yourself for putting something on the line. And I don't play fantasy football, but I really love the ideas that I hear from people. And if you lose this fantasy football game or this season, whatever it is, obviously I don't play because I don't even know what it's called. There's some type of humiliation involved. There's some type of thing on the line. There's some skin in the game. And that's why I'm not a person who loves the humiliation side, but I love the idea of having skin in the game. I love the idea of putting something on the line. And I know we do this with coaching because we say like, hey, this is an investment. This is an investment in your future. This is an investment in you 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. But it is based off of we want there to be an investment in you because you believe in this and it helps you get closer to that ideal version of you. That's why I strongly believe in investing. Those are three like mindset things that I really think is going to be crucial for 2025. Now we're going into what are the tactical things that you can do right now. So we have your journal, you have your goal, and then you also have some skin in the game. You're investing in yourself. Now let's talk through the tactical steps that's going to get you to that goal. One of the first things that everybody's probably going to need is to map out their nutrition for the success they want to see. Something I really like to do with a lot of our clients is called nutritional forecasting. It's where I go into, here's my phone, it's where I go into an app like MyFitnessPal and I map out what that ideal day of eating is. And the reason I really like this is because the majority of the people that we talk to eat the same things or have the same routines Monday through Friday, week after week after week after week. So if we have that kind of consistency, can I create, let's say 2 to 3, maybe 3 to 4 ideal days of eating and then just repeat that over and over again? I'm a person, I've been eating the same breakfast for years or a variation of 1 to 2 styles of breakfast for years. My lunches, it's probably like 4 to 5 different styles of lunches for years. So if I have that consistency, why not create a ideal day of eating that helps me reach those goals? So I'll go into something like MyFitnessPal and I'm about 190 to 200, let's just say in that general range. So I'm trying to get zero point 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So let's just say that's 150, 160 grams of protein. I'm going to go into MyFitnessPal and I'm going to create a day of eating where I can get 150, 160 grams of protein. I also know I need about 30 grams of fiber. So if I go through my day of eating, I have my protein in there and then I start going, how can I add some foods that are helpful for getting that fiber that I'm looking for if I'm looking for 25 to 30 grams of fiber every single day. I start creating this ideal day of eating and I start noticing that I need to hit 30 to 40 grams at breakfast. I need to hit 30 to 40 grams in some type of snack. Same thing at lunch, same thing at dinner. And so we start seeing the patterns that develop and when we need to eat when and how much we need to eat when. And then we start looking at the calories. If my calories are too high, I'm probably gaining weight. My calories are too low, I'll probably lose weight. You create this template that helps you visualize your day of eating. And after you created this, let's say ideal day of eating, you then try that day of eating. And there's going to be a lot of trial and error in this process. But what happens through this journey is you start learning like, okay, if I don't hit, let's say 60 to 70 grams of protein by 11 a.m., it's really hard for me to hit 150 by 7 or 8 p.m. So I need to adjust some of my protein on the front end and don't rely so much on maybe snacks on the back end. You learn with your schedule. You learn with how your rhythm of life, which is what makes it super, super easy to map out your nutrition for every week, every month. The other thing I really like about this is when it comes to grocery shopping, meal prepping, you start looking at things that you can batch together to really meal prep in under an hour or grocery shop in a very short period of time because you see that consistency that helps you reach your goals with your nutrition. Where the magic happens. So the reason we're here is because I want to talk about full body workouts. And I know it may seem strange that I'm in the bedroom talking about full body workouts, but I mean, there are some full body workouts which occur in the bedroom, but that's not really what we're talking about here. The reason we're in the bedroom is that as a parent, I feel like it's a flip of the coin where you're going to get a great night's sleep every single night. If you choose a body part split where I'm doing, let's say, chest on Monday, quads on Tuesday, back on Wednesday, whatever that may be, or if it's a push pull leg split, if you didn't have a great night's sleep the night before, your workout the next day isn't going to be great, which is why I like full body workouts. It's almost like I'm reducing the risk that I might not hit a certain muscle group that week. So I can have a great night's sleep on Sunday night, great work on Monday. But maybe I didn't have a great night's sleep on Monday night. I can still go through the motions on Tuesday and know by the end of the week, I'm hitting every major muscle group. This is the reason why I like full body workouts for busy parent is because you're hitting all the major muscle groups every single week, whether you slept well or didn't. And you just can't get that with a body part split or a push pull leg split. We talked about mapping out your nutrition. And as you map out your nutrition to see those 2025 goals, there's going to be an amount of stress that comes with just sticking to that ideal day of eating. And this is why we always highly, highly encourage people to plan for breaks. Like this is a pizza. Obviously, it's empty because we love pizza here. But the idea behind this is with that ideal day of eating and knowing what calories I need to either lose weight or gain muscle, whatever it is you want to achieve, plan for breaks throughout the week. So we often follow this idea of like the 80-20 principle where 80% of our diet is just dialed in, whole, minimally processed foods, really targeted towards the goals that we have. And in many ways, it's in a kind of a calorie deficit to leave room for this 20% of foods that really, what I like to call sanity meals, the meals that help us like have a little bit of fun, let our hair down, at least Brittany let her hair down, and allow us to truly be ourselves and be with the community and family and friends in a way that doesn't feel as strict and just aims for that goal. That helps us be consistent in the long run. And that's how you're going to make 2025 the best year ever because you need to be consistent for the whole year. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is check-ins and checking in with yourself. And that's one of the reasons journal comes in very handy. Time for the pool pump to go on. So when we program check-ins for our clients, the first question is always, what was your win for the week? And the wins that I love, we had one last week where a guy said his son gets upset if he doesn't wake his son up in the morning to go work out with him. Like his son gets upset. And he told us this story with such like it's fine. 3 seconds. And he told this story with such like pride that his son now looks at him as someone who works out. To me, that's a huge win. The second question is always like, how is your nutrition? What's your weight at? How are your workouts? But the two questions which we probably take the most out of, and Brittany can chime in here after, was what's your mental state at? Like, what kind of stress are you holding on to? What's coming up in the next couple of weeks that may kind of throw your nutrition for a loop? That may be a stressor or a struggle in your life. And these questions always lead to a great discussion that we have during the week. And that's what really the point of the check-in, the point of the accountability. How do you see the check-ins with your clients being helpful for their journey?
It helps us understand what's going on in them
With them.
with their previous week, what worked, what didn't, and what we can do to improve or to keep making steps towards their goals.
Mm-hmm. So how do you see someone who may not be a client who still wants to hold themselves accountable? What are some questions they should probably ask?
What worked this past week and what didn't? And if it didn't work, why?
Yeah.
What can you do differently? What's just a little thing that can make it potentially be more successful the following week?
Yeah.
Just a little tweak. It doesn't need to be much.
Yeah. And the reason why that works so well is that it's the little tweaks, because what we have a lot of people who are like these all or nothing guys and they like to just jump in head first, and that works for their lifestyle. But what ends up also happening is there's this immense amount of stress that gets incurred when you take these huge leaps of, I'm going to change my entire life in 1 week. And that's why New Year's resolutions rarely last. That's why diet fads rarely last, because you're taking this huge leap of I'm changing who I am, but your identity is still with this old way of living. So your identity hasn't evolved at the same pace that you're making changes in your life. Again, this is where the journal comes into play. You talk about those discussions. You talk about how your identity is evolving, how you see yourself is evolving, the narrative in your health in your head is evolving. All those things take time, and as those evolve, your nutrition evolves, your workouts evolve. That's a quality check-in, and that's how you're going to make 2025 really the best year ever. Oh, and the last thing that's probably super helpful is I really need Brittany for the support. When I'm feeling down, she's super helpful in what do you need? How can I be of service? And I try to do the same thing for her. Am I good at it? No, but we're always trying to improve. But getting some support is super helpful, and like it doesn't need to be us. It could be family, it could be friends, it could be your spouse. Sometimes the spouse isn't on board with your health plan, and that's okay. But there's Facebook groups and there's meetups, all kinds of things where people are super supportive of your journey, and finding that is really, and that's one of the reasons I really like having these big goals of like the half Ironman or marathon, because you can find running groups, you can find swim groups, you can find these other people. That's why I like CrossFit, is because there's these groups of people who are going through that same journey, who see the value in improving who they are and who they want to become. And then that also helps with that internal dialogue of thinking, I am this person. Because once you start identifying as that healthier version of you, it makes all these healthy habits so much easier. 2025 is going to be your best year ever. I can feel it.